can't do all the dancing today, y'all. Can we just get into it, for crying out loud? How are y'all doing out there? Welcome back to Your Southern Lesbian. I am Ashley Hydrick, your host. Thank you so much for all the super kind comments and DMs, and I'm so it makes me so happy to hear that I'm not just speaking to a camera, that some of this is actually landing with y'all. Because for a long time I've been feeling like, well, crap, if I'm feeling these things and if I'm experiencing these things in relationships and in dating, surely there's got to be other people who are going to resonate with this, and maybe some of my experiences can help. So before I get into today's topic, I just want to say thank you. And nobody has asked me this, but I do want to make it just crystal clear that all of these experiences that I'm talking about are based on my patterns. This is all me. This is all work that I need to do or have learned and have started doing the work on. It just so happens that over the last few years, I have recognized a lot of patterns that have come up and have repeated themselves in relationships. And I'm like, huh. And it's things like times where I blurted things out, after being triggered about something where I shouldn't have. And I should have just zipped it, given it a moment, and given my partner the benefit of the doubt. Or times where I knew that things weren't aligned. I felt it in my gut and I pressed forward anyway. Times that I didn't want to create conflict, so I just kept quiet about certain things where I should have spoken up. As well as times where I really got scared of the relationship ending, of being abandoned again, reflecting on feelings from childhood and having that feeling of abandonment. So I tolerated certain things that I shouldn't have, behaviors that I shouldn't have. Now, nobody's ever it's never been physical abuse or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. I can't, and you better not either. But, just unhealthy behaviors. And when it hits a point in the relationship where, it's just outstayed its welcome, like 3-day-old fish. Or guests. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these patterns. Okay, so I want to talk to y'all this week about, as we, are in a relationship and it's nearing the end, I have had a tendency in the past to always cling, and I've said to myself many, many times, well, I don't want any regrets walking away from this, so I want to know that I've tried everything. Now, the sad reality is, by the time you hit this point in a relationship, you already probably do have regrets, and you probably should have already made some different decisions. Maybe not, not trying to generalize, it's me. So Brené Brown just released a book called Rising Strong, and I can't get the dang thing here in the UK yet, y'all, which I can't wait to get my hands on because I love her books. But she did an interview with Oprah on, I think it was Super Soul. I'll put the link in the show notes so y'all can listen to it, and it was so fantastic. And I had a few major takeaways from this about what we're talking about here. So according to Miss Brené Brown, she said something in that interview. She said that when we end a relationship and we walk away and we say, well, I don't have any regrets about that. I did everything. I tried everything. That is a very dangerous thing to say. And I was like, well, what do you mean, Brené? And here's why. Well, it doesn't take a genius to realize you should always look back at your past mistakes and want to learn from them and want to grow from them and think about, what if I had done something differently there? How might things have gone better? She then goes on to say that the stories that we tell ourselves are very powerful, and that our brains have the tendency to want to make sense of things very quickly to protect us, right? So that story, whether it be positive or negative, whether it be good or bad, whatever that first story is that comes into your mind to make you feel safe is often the one that you cling to. And this oftentimes dictates how we make choices in moving forward. So then you get to this point, and if you're fully inside your own story, it often makes it very difficult to hear anything else coming into you. It makes it very hard to hear someone else's opinion and go, oh gosh, is she right? Should I be looking at this differently? So then, unfortunately, what we'll sometimes do, I don't know anybody who's done this, y'all, but somebody somewhere might have done this, we'll double down on our behavior because we've got our story, and it's hard to admit that maybe we were wrong about it because we've made so many choices. We've had so many behaviors based on this idea, whatever it is that we've been telling ourselves. So I'm going to also say it's not drastically different, y'all, from let's say prosecutors who have put somebody in prison, and then 20 years later, 15 years later, whatever it is, new DNA, technological research shows that that person wasn't guilty, but the prosecutor will still have a tough time admitting that he or she was wrong. So the person could even get released from jail. Like, there's a case in South Carolina right now like this, which I'm just like, are you effing kidding me? I've seen this happen many times in the news, and this is such a great example. It's like the person is walking free. They are being released from prison, and the prosecutor still won't admit that they made a mistake. So also, and I hate to say this, and I'm not going to get political here, when you vote for a certain candidate and then things have gone a certain way and maybe you no longer like said candidate and you're like, don't want to be on this team anymore. But some people have such a tough time letting go of their story that they continue to double down and protect that decision or those decisions that are harmful to other people. And I've thought about this. I'm like, I just said, why do they do this? Well, I think that we do it in relationships. We do it in situations like this to protect our future selves from anybody coming at us. Because think about it, like once you admit, it's like keeping the upper hand. And I've heard that term used a lot in the South, keeping the upper hand. If you admit that you're wrong about something, well, what's going to stop them, in the future from calling you out on other, like how are they going to think that your future decisions have any credibility? Does that make sense? Y'all getting what? Picking up what I'm putting down? Anyway, here we are. We get stuck in these stories that we tell ourselves, and it's very hard to let go, right? So in a sense, they're doubling down to protect their future selves from God knows what. How does that even make sense? You know what I mean? It's dishonest. It shows your character. It's not good. So anyway, I'm not getting into all that politically. Like I said, this specifically today I want to talk about in our relationships. Not to even mention, this is the exact type thing that if you can't release those stories, if you continue to hold this stuff in your body, this is what exactly can lead to diseases, right? Diseases. You don't want to carry around that type of negative energy and hold it and protect it when you know that there might be room for another story. Back to Brené Brown, y'all. So in this new book, she has a quote that she read to our goddess queen, Oprah, and it says, "He or she who is willing to be the most uncomfortable can rise strong." Brené Brown. So being able to feel your way through uncomfortable, vulnerable emotion, the right choice is not always the easy choice, and often you're going to upset somebody along the way. It may be you're just upsetting yourself. I don't know. It may be your partner that you're about to upset because you know that they don't want to hear what you're about to say. But if it's your truth living inside of you, you're the one that has to be able to sleep with it at night. And the faster you can get this beautiful truth that's eating you up inside out of your mouth into the ears of your beloved, the faster the healing can begin. And as we know, as we just discussed in episodes 34 and 35, if you tell your partner your honest, vulnerable truth, which you have to, and they hear you out and they get curious about it and they want to understand maybe how you got to that story in your head and be compassionate with you and hold the space for you while you work through that, well, that's a beautiful sign, y'all. That is someone you want as a partner in your life. That's a great thing. So in order to create opportunity for them to show up in this way, you've got to be honest with them. And just because you're Southern Lesbian isn't always about lesbians pretending that they're right all the time. It's about how we live. Now it's time for our subtle change, profound impact of the week. 2 things I did this week instead of pouring that 3rd cup of coffee, y'all. First, a 15-minute walk. It's just about to storm here, y'all, but it is so beautiful. I had to get out. Fresh air, get in nature, smell a tree, pet a puppy. Pet a tree, smell a puppy. Y'all, the mental shift was instant. Sometimes confidence comes from just proving you'll show up for yourself. Somewhere here there's a metaphor about lesbians in the rain. This reminds me of a Tori Amos song. Y'all know the one? Now, y'all know how they say when you're trying to kick or cut back a habit, it's helpful to have a swap. Half the time for me, it's not even about needing caffeine or my coffee. It's just about wanting that comfort food feeling as something to sip on while I'm working. So brands like Clipper, traditional medicinals, Yogi, or even Trader Joe's has a chamomile blend. For me, this kind of swap supports my thyroid and keeps my energy steady instead of too many jitters. Do y'all ever get that eyelid twitch thing? Herbal tea, because history has shown that jittery lesbians do not make good decisions. Now back to our dramatic lesbians. So As we said, if you're speaking your truth and she gets curious, what a gift. What a beautiful thing. Open up, be vulnerable, tell her what she needs to understand you and your beautiful heart more fully. But if she gets angry, if she threatens to end the relationship, or God forbid, if she leaves, you have to let it go. You've got to recognize in that moment that those are her triggers. And if she's not willing to work through them in this relationship, then it's not your job to dishonor your truth and not do the thing you actually just talked about, stay silent about it, or persuade her to come around and try to fix her. Listen, she may be dealing with things on the inside that you have no idea about, and maybe she's also trying to get to a place where she feels completely comfortable being vulnerable and open and honest with you. And if she may need time, and that's fine, you know, we have to respect that. We have to give her that, right? I want somebody to give me that space. Like when I get flooded with emotions and I'm trying to make sense of what's going on in my pea brain, if I say to somebody, I'm still trying to wrap my head around why I feel this way and what this means, and it doesn't completely make sense to me either. Listen, I really respect someone who can go, okay, you know what? I want to hold this space for you. I don't understand what in the heck you're talking about either, lesbian, but I'll be here for you. Take a few days and think on that, or a few minutes, or whatever you need, and let's pick this back up again when it makes more sense. Whatever, just if somebody's willing to hold the space, it's just the most beautiful thing. But trust me, it's just so unhealthy when you go against that flow of what's actually needing to happen and actually what's needing to be said. And it just gets increasingly harder, and then one or both of you end up with your needs not being met. And again, there may be only one of you who's willing to do this work. And if that's the case, you know, you can't, it's not going to work. I'm sorry, but it's not going to work. I am very, very guilty, and I said this to y'all last week too, of being that person who said, well, I don't want any regrets, so I want to continue to try and continue to try and continue to push and beat the dead horse, right? I wanted to give it another chance because I didn't understand it. I wanted another chance to work through it, another and another. And I wanted that feeling of no regrets. And here's the thing. In a relationship that doesn't work, I'm not sure you're ever going to get that. Just give it to yourself. You're going to have to find closure within yourself and go, that just didn't work. We're just not aligned. Because it just beats the relationship to a pulp. And then, you know, the last thing I want to do is ruin any chance of ever being able to, I don't know if having a friendship with all my exes is going to be a thing or not. I'm not one of those people that feels like you have to have a friendship with every ex. It depends on the circumstances, right? It depends on how y'all move forward. It depends on your new partners. But I do want there to be kindness. I do want to be able to like run into you in the market, in the street, at the lesbian bar, wherever. That's probably, I mean, for real, that's where we're probably going to run into each other. And be able to give you a hug and say, hey, how are you? I hope you're doing great. So back to Brené Brown. It is so important, as she says, to take responsibility for yourself. These people do show up as mirrors, as we've discussed, to show you and give you an opportunity to work through these things. You know, the mirror shows you what you need to work on, and here's the person in front of you, hopefully, that says, hey, I'm going to give you the chance to work through this. And she calls this the reckoning. If you get the opportunity to actually work through some of your triggers in a relationship, that's the reckoning. What a beautiful gift. Okay, so the next thing she says is, in order for true forgiveness to happen, something has to die. And what she means by this is embedded deep in forgiveness is a grief. A grief of not only your feelings of betrayal, if there was any, being gaslit, if there was any, but also that idea of your story we talked about that now is dying. So you have to let go of your old story, which not only the story of what you thought you were doing was right, but the story of the entire relationship, you know, of where you thought you were headed in the future with this person. You're grieving your future with this person, you know? I mean, did you see yourself marrying them? Did you see yourself having a family with them? Did you see yourself traveling the world and supporting each other's careers? Like, whatever your idea was of all these things, that's painful. That is a death in itself. So I want to add to this during this period, like if you can practice holding discomfort, that is a very useful skill to have. Because when you're about to step back inside the dating arena, using a Brené Brown term there, y'all proud of me? When you're ready to step back inside the dating arena, you're going to have to be vulnerable again. You're going to have to, like, you don't want to be wearing your heart on your sleeve so much that if somebody says something to you that you don't want to hear, or you have a rejection, or you like somebody and you're thinking it's going to go somewhere and they're not feeling what you're feeling, like, you got to be able to take a blow a little bit. So opportunities like these where, you know, you're learning after the end of a relationship or during a relationship that you're not right about certain things, practice holding that discomfort. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable is what I'm trying to say. Brené also says, vulnerability is the best measure of courage. The willingness to show up and let ourselves be fully seen and fully known. We craft love from heartbreak, compassion from shame, grace from disappointment, courage from failure. Showing up is our power. Story is our way home. Truth is our song. We are the brave and the brokenhearted. We are rising strong. Brené Brown. Somebody needs to like put music to that. Those are fucking powerful lyrics. They would be. I think that's really cool. It's like a anthem in there. Anyway, y'all, that's what I got for you today. As you know, I'm no relationship expert. Again, I am just a lesbian who has been through some stuff and sharing my experiences because, well, as I'm putting them out there, I'm feeling a lot of y'all giving me feedback in return and telling me that it resonates. So thank you. That means a lot. And if you've made it this far in the video, actually, why don't you drop me a strong arm, like a strong arm in the comments. I want to know, like, how many people are actually making it to the end of these videos? Is this really resonating with y'all? Because I can't see your faces. I don't know who I'm talking to. I appreciate y'all being here so much, though. Thank you. Thank you, as always. If this is you going through a painful breakup right now, then I do just want to say, keep going. Give yourself grace, and relationships weren't for nothing. None of them are here for nothing. They are here to teach us something. They're here to teach us very valuable lessons. So if you can walk away being grateful for what you have, God, what a gift, you know, right? To have experienced that love with that person. Just take that from it. Just take that. Sending y'all so much love. Again, reminding you, you're not too old. You're not too late. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And y'all have a wonderful week. Don't forget to check out the Your Southern Lesbian TikTok if you want a little bit more interactive community. There's lots of people on there wife shopping in the comments, y'all, and it's just kind of a different vibe of a community, so come on over. The water's warm if y'all want to see what that is too. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye y'all.